Hey guys, it's Mr. Dugal, and today we're going to talk about nets and surface area. So first of all, our object on the right here is what we call a net. And nets are kind of like a flattened 3D shape. So in this case you have a rectangular prism over here to the left, and this is a picture of the net flattened out. So you can see from our rectangular prism that the length, width, and heights are 7, 5, and 4 feet as the 3 dimensions. And then you can see from the net where we also have, a 7, a 5, and 4 feet right here. And so basically that's what surface area is. It's the area of all of the sides added up. So it's the area of a 7 by 5 front here on our rectangular prism that's modeled right there. Here on our net, this is our 7 by 5 front, which means we also have a 7 by 5 back. In terms of our sides, we have, it looks like it's 4 feet wide on the bottom and again 7 feet tall. So it's a 7 by 4 foot side. Obviously we have a right side and a left side, and that's modeled here on our net. It's 7 by 4, and again the opposite side right there. Finally, we have our top and bottom, and our top is 5 feet wide by 4 feet long. On our 3D picture it's modeled right there, and our net, you can see here we have it 4 feet wide by 5 feet long. So there is our top and our bottom. And basically, if we find the area of each face, we find the area of the prism. And that's how you find surface area for any prism, is that you could technically break it down into its nets. And so let's go ahead and find the surface area using the net. We can see that the area of our front is 7 by 5, so the area of the front is 35. So both oranges are 35. The area of our sides are 7 by 4, so the area of both the right side and the left side is 28. Finally, I have the area of the top as 20 because it's a 5 by 4, which means the area of the bottom is also 20. When I add these up, I get 35 and 35, which makes 70. 20 and 20, which makes 40. And here we have 28 plus 28, which gives us 56. So we need to know that 70 and 40 here makes 110. And 110 plus 50 makes 160. Plus the 6, I have 166. And because it's area, we always remember a silly little saying that I say in terms of getting people to remember the units involved with area. Area, squarea. So area is 166 square feet, and that's my answer. Now, the problem that I see in middle school math, where students have problems with surface area, is that it's hard to visualize the net. So mostly they'll give you a 3D figure like this, and you have to find the surface area. And students have a hard time, without actually having the object in hand, figuring out what the net should look like. So I'm going to give you a helpful hint. This is specifically for rectangular prisms. Again, there is a long formula that you could memorize, but I'm going to try to make it a little easier for you. The biggest thing that I see with students having success in middle school and then in high school geometry is the students that understand concepts, not memorize formulas. Because if we can understand the concept, that will carry over to other shapes and other type of problems. But if we memorize the formula and then summer hits and we forget all our formulas, we're back at square one. So it's really important, I'm going to highlight this, that we understand concepts, not memorize formulas. And the concept when it comes to rectangular prisms is that there are 3 side lengths and each side length is used twice. To go back to our net, the 7 was used in connection with the 5 to make 35. It was also used in connection with the 4 to make 28, so it was used twice. Okay? The 4 was also used twice. It was used with the 7 and 4 to make 28, like I just showed there. And then also with the 5 and the 4 to make 20 down there. Lastly, 5 was also used twice to make the 20 that we just mentioned, and to make the 35 that we mentioned earlier to go along with the 7. Now, not only are they each used twice, but further, whenever I have a front, I also have a back. And whenever I have a left side, I also have a right side. And wherever I have a top, I also have a bottom. So once I find the area of each, I multiply by 2. So what I suggest for students when finding the surface area of rectangular prisms is to make a little checklist with each of our side lengths, our edges. So we have 7, 5, and 4 as the 2 side lengths. There isn't necessarily a formula I need to memorize. I just need to make sure to use each number, like we just discussed, 2 times. And this will find me my front, my top, and my side. And then again, in the end, we're going to multiply by 2, because where there's a top, there's a bottom. Where there's a front, there's a back. Where there's a left side, there's a right side. So here's our checklist, 7 and 5. We're going to start out with that. 7 times 5. Okay, I've now used 7 once and 5 once. This is in reference to the front. I'm going to now use 7 and 4. Since 7 is my top number, we'll just use it twice first. So that covers my right side here, 7 by 4. I want you to stop and think, what is the last set of side lengths that I should be pairing together and multiplying here? Okay, the last set of side lengths that I should be using is 5 and 4, and that's because, as you can see, we've only used them each once. And together they make the top here. So I'm going to do 5 times 4. There you go. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 4 is 20. Now these numbers should look really familiar. Down below we see our 20 representing the top here. We see our 28 representing the side, and we see our 35 representing the front. When I add those together, it gets me a total of 83. This is not my answer, and this is where students can sometimes make a mistake, is 83 is simply, again, it's just my front, my top, and my right side. What I'm missing is the bottom, the back side, and the left side. So I need to multiply this number by 2, which gives me exactly 166 square feet. This answer is obviously the same as what we have over here. Our answer for a net should always be the same as a rectangular prism. I'm going to take you through one more example so we can try to understand that concept a little more and why it works to use each number twice and then in the end to multiply by 2. Okay, in this example, I did something a little different. First of all, we still have a rectangular prism. It just kind of turned on its side from the top example. You'll also notice that in this example, I have 2 numbers or 2 side lengths that are the same. So I have an 11 and 2 3s as my side lengths. So when I go to make my checklist, I do include 11 and 2 3s. So technically, I am going to have to use 3 4 times. Okay? Okay, so let's get started with this. I'm going to start using my first number and second number. I tend to always go in the same order. I guess I'm just a creature of habit like that. You can go in any order, but this just helps me to keep my ducks in a row, so to speak. So 11 and 3 first, And then I'm going to go with 11 and the other 3. So I actually have the same multiplier. One thing to understand is that they represent different things though. So the first 11 by 3 would be 11 this way and 3 up. So the first 11 by 3 is actually my front. Whereas the second 11 by 3 is actually 11 this way and 3 that way. So it's actually my top. So they represent 2 different things even though they're the same number. Finally, I multiply 3 by 3, which is my side. Now used each number twice. When I go to multiply, I get 11 times 3 is 33, plus 33 again, obviously, plus 9. 33 plus 33 is 66, plus 9 is 75. I want you to stop and evaluate. If you think this should be my answer should be 75 yards squared. Okay, the correct answer is no, it shouldn't be 75 yards square. This is the biggest mistake that students make, is they do stop here. But what's important to remember is right now I only have a front, a top, and a right side. I need a bottom, a back, and a left side, and in order to do that, I'm going to just multiply this number by 2, which is 150 square yards, and that is my correct answer. So that is nets connecting into surface area. Again, a net is just a rectangular prism kind of flattened out, and surface area can be found by adding the area of each face, which we can do by finding the area of each face within a net, or understanding the concept when seeing just a normal 3D shape and using that to find surface area. Hopefully this helps as a foundation for using nets and prisms to find surface area. Thanks so much for watching.